I think myself, like most people, are thinking that the judge is going to have to side with AT&T in this case, and then we'll just see how the dominoes fall there in terms of timing, how quickly the government appeals. Can AT&T close this on the 18th? If it does get extended, how much money is Time Warner going to ask to extend the deadline of the transaction, which I believe is on the 21st? So I think that's what most people are preparing for.
Let's do dominoes real quick. So let's say he says, go with God, do the deal, guys. It's all good. They can close the deal how quickly?
The 18th.
The 18th. Okay. And you say no matter what, the DOJ will appeal?
I have no idea, but it seems like they're pretty determined to block this transaction. So there might be an appeal, and I'm not sure whether that's going to delay the transaction or not. We'll have to see how that.
Okay. Have there been examples of situations where a deal has closed and then they've gone back and appealed afterwards and lost?
Not that I'm aware of, but maybe you have.
No, I don't know of an example. That's why I'm curious as to how that would play itself out.
Correct. So I don't know if there's an example of something like that. So.
And how quickly do you think Comcast, parent company of this network, if in fact that deal moves, it closes, moves on Fox?
I think Rich Greenfield has talked about this, thinking that it's going to come same day, day after. I mean, why not today? If the belief is that they're going to move forward, whether there's an approval or not, you know, what are they waiting for? I mean, it's going to be a matter of days, I think, before that next move happens.
Is it like off to the races for M&A activity if this judge actually sides with AT&T?
We had this expectation there was an incentive auction where the broadcasters were selling spectrum and everyone was in this quiet period, and there was going to be an off to the races view then, and then we had a new president that was elected that was expected to be deal friendly, and that never really happened. And then this court case started to occur. So I think once again there's a feeling that a lot of these companies are going to move forward, and especially if one company buys one asset, then it, you know, takes everyone back to the boardroom and says, where do we need to position ourselves in 5 years for these individual competitors we have, whether it's in the media or in the big tech, where everyone's trying to say, do our companies need to be in 5 years? So I think that is clearly the expectation. Maybe this time around it actually happens.
What's the chance you think the judge approves and puts conditions on this deal?
I don't think that the conditions is probably something that he's going to.
If he does, by the way, I think that then sets up the appeal in a much more significant way.
Yeah, and then you have a timeline again. It gets back to AT&T and how much they're going to have to pay Time Warner to extend that process. I think if it's a block, Time Warner goes their own way, maybe brings other bidders in.
Is there any incentive for Time Warner to continue to stretch this out in your mind?
Only if they think that there's a good shot of getting approval with AT&T. If it looks like there's a problem with getting approval, then it's probably time for Time Warner to move on and look for other potential.
But if Time Warner were to move on, do you think it'll actually get a higher price from somebody else at this point? That's the billion-dollar question.
But it's also chaos that you'd have to continue.
I mean, there's a lot of jockeying for assets right now. A lot of people bring Verizon into the mix. Verizon just announced a new CEO last week who's a engineer. I think a lot of people think that, okay, that means they don't want to go into media. You have to give Hans Vestberg some benefit of the doubt. Just because he's a tech guy doesn't mean he can't take the company in a different direction to start to diversify what Verizon has.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.